Alright, so I know I haven't posted the rest of the story for a while, and it's been like 3 weeks, maybe more. But like I just got tired of looking at one part of a story and not being able to finish the rest. But since it's been over 3 weeks, I read the whole story by myself, and I kind of ruined the whole story for myself. And that's kind of why I've been putting it off, is because I don't want to read it again. But I'm going to do it for you guys. And plus, I noticed that the link that I put in the previous video doesn't work, so I'm going to put another link that's better, and I'm going to do that with the other two too as well. But this is chapter 2 of Fading Colors by Mr. J. Webb. Why do I always say the author's name? Maybe because I don't want to feel like I'm stealing it or anything. Anyway, here we go. Twilight Sparkle sat beside Fluttershy and Applejack. The Earth Pony wept softly to herself, still grieving over the state of her best friend. The weather had taken a turn for the worse as the skies opened up and unleashed a torrential downpour upon the town. Glancing out the window, Twilight Sparkle could only make out darkness, sitting on edge. Of all the times the Weather Patrol could have scheduled a storm, why did they have to come up now? She thought to herself, as the rain continued to pelt the great oak. The only other sound at the time was Applejack sobbing. It pained the Lavender Unicorn to see her friend in such a hurt state. She cast a glance to Rainbow Dash. The Pegasus lay not far from the group of friends, her mane and coat nearly colorless. It was clear that wherever she was internally, she was far beyond her friend's reach. Spike, deciding to do something useful, had returned to putting the library in some sort of order. Fluttershy did her best to explain to Twilight what had happened, Applejack occasionally filling in the blanks when needed. Well, that's quite a story, Applejack. I must say this is different, but I accept you for who you are, Twilight reassured her broken friend. Applejack gave her a weak smile in return. It seemed to take a load off the Earth Pony. There was a knocking sound at the door. Did you hear something? Fluttershy questioned her two friends. Twilight had heard the rapping. It's rapping. It's R-A-P-P-I-N-G. I'm just gonna say it's rapping. Twilight heard the rapping. Hope of the Princess Celestia's arrival in her Twilight heard the rapping, hoping of Princess Celestia's arrival springing in her. It's just some pony at the door, Fluttershy. There's no need to be worried. Not over the storm, anyway. She thought, looking down to the colorless Pegasus. They were taking care of her. Using her magic, Twilight opened the door, revealing a tall pony hidden under a dark cloak. Lightning flashed in the distance, casting the visitor's shadow across the room. Fluttershy jumped at the flash, diving under the table for cover. Twilight rolled her eyes, at her friend's behavior. Though she knew how the pony could get in when the weather was bad. She turned back to the pony at the door. I'm sorry, but we're closed. She stopped mid-sentence as the figure stepped into the library. Applejack looked ready to charge, but stopped at the figure as the figure dropped its head. Oh my god, I'm talking too fast. Princess Luna! Twilight and Applejack called out. Fluttershy poked her head out from beneath her covers. Revealing who the pony was, she quickly joined her friends in a bow. Tia is out of Equestria at the moment, visiting the Griffin lands, Luna explained. I have taken over her duties for the time being. The royal pony removed her cloak, hanging it by the door. Now your letter did not give much detail, Twilight Sparkle. Please fill me in on the situation. Her voice was soft but stern. Chills ran up Twilight's back as the princess spoke her name. Well, Princess, take a look for yourself. The three friends moved aside, revealing their unconscious friend. Luna merely glanced over the Pegasus, instantly grasping the situation. Well, it looks like she's battling with her mind. Twilight's expression became one of confusion. I'm not sure I follow, Princess. Luna cleared the confusion. Her mind is very confused, and as such she has locked herself in her dream realm until she can figure out what is right. Not much we can do for her, I'm afraid. The three friends shared an exchange of gasps and scared looks. Hang on there just an apple-bucking minute, Applejack exclaimed in frustration, almost forgetting she was speaking with royalty. You're telling me that the only thing we can do is just sit around and wait for her to wake up? Luna grinned shyly, trying to ease the tension in the room. Yes, I guess that's what needs to be done. Applejack bit back. After all, it was her fault for Dash in such a state. How long? She choked out, tears starting in the corners of her eyes. The mind is a complex thing, my little pony, the princess cooed, trying to soothe the worried farmer. You must understand this. She can't just wake up at any time. She could wake up at any time, or not at all. How bad was the incident that drove her to this state, may I ask? A silence loomed over the friends. Twilight Sparkle thought she would have to say it. She opened her mouth to speak, only to find herself cut off by the timid Pegasus at her side. Fluttershy of all ponies answered the princess. It started years ago when she was in flight school. Bullies tormented her so hard that she pushed it back into her mind. It's just now coming back. This is more serious than I thought, the princess spoke regretfully. If she's repressed these problems for so long, there's no telling how long it will take. It's all my fault, interrupted Applejack, desperately pleading the alicorn for help. Princess, please, you gotta do something. I can't just watch her suffer like this. A sad look came across Luna's face. There is one thing. Anything, Princess, the Earth Pony pleaded, now on the brink of tears. Luna sighed, relieving the gravity of the request. Oh God, phone call. Hello? It's okay. Yeah. Okay, I apologize for that. I stopped the phone call because it was my mother. And I'm probably going to try and edit it out, the phone call part, but if I can't, I'm just telling you ahead of time. But anyway, let me get a drink of water first. Alright, now on with the story. I'm going to start back at the first paragraph that I was reading, just so, you know, you're not confused. Luna sighed, relieving the gravity of the request. If you really are up to it, I can send you into your friend's mind. There you can help her and find her way back. However, you have to be careful. Her mind is very troubled, and any danger you encounter within will be as real as in the physical world. Without missing a beat, the Earth Pony gave her answer. I'll do it. But Applejack, Fluttershy interjected, are you sure you want to do that? I mean, it could be dangerous. Fluttershy has a point, Applejack, Twilight followed. We don't know what Dash is going through right now. This could be very bad. Applejack had made her choice. Girls, this is something I have to do. I can't live with myself knowing I caused her this trouble, and I did nothing about it, exclaimed the apple farmer, offering her friends a hopeful smile. Her two friends knew that she was in charge of her mind. Sorry, I gotta read that. Her two friends knew that she would not change her mind. Please be careful. Fluttershy hugged her friend, shallow tears leaking from her eyes. Good luck, Applejack. It was Twilight's turn to hug her friend. Thank y'all, expressed Applejack, wiping tears from her eyes. Are you ready? Luna that sounded really snubby. I'm going to say that again. Are you ready? Luna questioned the Earth Pony. As I'll ever be. This is a sad story. Why do I keep making them sound all happy and energetic? As I'll ever be. Luna motioned for her to lie down beside her friend. Applejack did as instructed. Now close your eyes and let your mind go blank. Applejack let her eyes rest. Her last thought ran through her mind. Don't worry, Apple. Oh my God. Don't worry, Rainbow. I'm coming. Alright. Applejack felt herself sink back into consciousness from some distant earth-real darkness. As her senses returned, she could feel the new surroundings beneath her coat. She felt damp and chilled. A cool breeze blew past her, making her skin crawl. Applejack's eyes slowly opened, taking in the new world of Dash's mind. Almost immediately, she noticed the strange texture she lied on was a cloud. She bolted to her hooves, sending her head into a whirling confusion with sudden fright. She dropped into a curled ball, thinking she would slip through the clouds at any moment, falling helplessly to her death. After a few seconds of waiting, she realized how solid the cloud was under her hooves. She stood again, letting her senses analyze the world better. The Earth Pony cast a glance into the sky. noticing for the first time the strange lack of color this new place held. It was as if some pony had sucked all the life out of the sky. Nerves on edge, she looked at her forehooves, seeing her own orange coat as unsettling contrast against the gray world around her. Applejack didn't understand why there was no color, but she was happy that she still had her own. Yeah, I'm sure I'll stick out like a rotten apple, the apple farmer thought aloud. Turning around, the Earth Pony found herself just outside of the massive Cloud City. Despite being there only once in her life, Applejack knew that the city was Cloudsdale. Might as well start there, decided Applejack, sighing loudly as she started to move towards the city. So, what are you gonna say to her? Her mind asked. I'm sorry? Pfft, what a lame apology. Might as well just give up now with that kind of attitude. Applejack was becoming very annoyed with her mind's doubts. Well, what the hell am I supposed to say? Calm down, Sally, I'm on your side. I don't need any help, she snorted to herself. I'm here whether you like it or not, and I'm all you got. Before she knew it, Applejack found herself wandering the streets of the massive Cloud City. Many levels of the city left inaccessible, requiring flight, but it seemed as though she could search... Sorry, I got lost. But it seemed she could search around well enough in spite of her hindrance. Alright, where am I going to start? Her mind asked. Applejack cast a glance around her. This was Cloudsdale, but it was Cloudsdale as Dash viewed it. She needed a clue to where the Pegasus would be in her own world. At the intersection was a sign that read, Cloudsdale Flight School. Next to the sign was an arrow pointing left. Of course! Applejack thought aloud. If Dash was anywhere in this world, she would be at her school. The Earth Pony quickly crossed the street and followed the sign's direction. The bare streets of the massive Cloud City took Applejack by surprise. It felt like the city was empty, but the normal bustle of life replaced by the low buzz in the back of her mind. She had seen a few Pegasi fly above, but to her surprise, none of them seemed to notice how out of place the Earth Pony was walking in the streets. One pony moved down the street towards her, flying low. Applejack could clearly see this Pegasus. Something was off about the pony as it came closer. Applejack could pick out why. The floating pony shape was faceless, lacking mane, tail, and cutie mark, with motionless wings. It looked as if it was one of Rarity's mannequins, flying as if on strings. She moved aside to let the animate statue pass, unnerved by the event. With this discovery, she looked closer at the world. Many of the buildings she passed had looked normal before, but with more sculpturous eye. She noticed that they were without doors and windows, She noticed they were without doors, and the windows only revealed a small box of what would really be inside. Many of the city's towering structures were twisting and bending at odd angles, with few straight lines. Looking to the distance, she could see the world's end almost disappearing back into a white haze. She had not considered it before, but the more she thought, the more she realized just how little detail really existed in dreams, without the delusion of the actual experience. Here she was free of the clouded perception of sleep. She could see what was really around her. It was also surreal. After a quick trot, Applejack arrived in front of the flight school. Luckily, there was a small bridge of cloud leading to the door. She stood on the path halfway to the entrance of the school. Just then, the school doors burst open, pouring forth hundreds of faceless school-aged Pegasi. Applejack jumped off the bridge, landing softly on the cloud floor below. The faceless Pegasi swarmed into the surrounding area, joining into groups with their friends. Applejack scanned the mob of ponies, trying to spot her friends' familiar features in the sea of pony shapes. Several minutes passed. Not more than a couple dozen ponies remained. Most moved in groups of 3 or 4, spread about in front of the school, chatting in impossibly soundless voices about what Applejack interpreted as the day's activities. About to give up and try somewhere else, the doors to the school opened once again. Drawing her attention, stepping through the open doors, were 2 fillies. On the left stood a young filly, though Applejack couldn't make out her mane or coat, as there was no color to be made out. Standing next to the Pegasus was another filly. Oh, I just read that line. I'm going to read it anyway. Standing next to the Pegasus was another filly, though very familiar, even with all the color gone. She could tell it was Rainbow Dash. Applejack's jaw dropped. It was the first time she had seen Dash so young. The duo took off trotting, zooming right past the stunned pony as if she stood invisible. Quickly, Applejack spun herself around to see the duo turn, heading off down the street. She had just come from. Applejack took off toward them, trailing behind the pair to remain undetected. Alright, now my throat's getting dry. I'm going to take a drink of water. Now, like, in my other past videos, I've heard myself drink water and it sounds gross. And I'm trying to stop that. So, you know, just mind that. Alright. Now to the next paragraph and so. After a short distance, the two Pegasi slowed down. Soon after they stopped completely, the pair stood in front of the Cloud home. It was like all the other houses Applejack had seen since being here, made entirely out of Cloud on the outside, but something made this one different. The entire building seemed more real than the other ones around her. She swore she could see color fighting to shine through. Applejack shook her head, reclaiming herself. She had to get closer if she wanted to hear what the two were saying. She expertly crept towards them, hiding behind a street lamp made of none other than Cloud. "Alright, Skyfire, I'll see you tomorrow," Philly Dash questioned, smiling intently at her friend. Skyfire? Apparently this is an OC pony. Yeah. Skyfire smiled at the brash Pegasus. "You betcha, Dash," she cooed, leaning over and kissing Dash lightly on the... God damn it, another phone call! Sorry, I gotta stop the recording again. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I had to stop the recording again. It was another phone call. My mother again. So, anyway, I forgot where I was. I'm just gonna read where Applejack's sneaking. She expertly crept towards them, hiding behind a street lamp made out of none other than Cloud. "Alright, Skyfire, I'll see you tomorrow," Philly Dash questioned. Whoa. Question. "Alright, Skyfire, see you tomorrow?" Philly Dash questioned, smiling intently at her friend. Skyfire smiled at the brash Pegasus. "You betcha, Dash," she cooed, leaning over and kissing Dash lightly on the cheek. Skyfire pulled away, giggling softly at Dash, "Aww," whose wings stood completely flared out. If color still remained, Dash's face would be the brightest crimson ever seen. Skyfire walked forward, opening the door in front of her. "See you tomorrow, Dashy," she called as she blew a kiss goodbye and shut the door. Applejack's jaw once again fell open at the display. She looked at the filly in front of her, noticing something off at her younger friend, beside the lack of color, of course. She couldn't figure out what it was. Applejack took another glance over the filly, dragging her eyes from her hoof, to piece together what it was. "No cutie mark!" she shouted aloud before she could stop herself. Sorry, my brother was behind me and I stopped the recording for another second. Alright, no more interruptions. So Applejack is noticing that Rainbow Dash didn't have a cutie mark. "Who the hey are you, and what are you doing watching me, you creep?" The Earth Pony snapped back to reality. If that's what you could call this place. Rainbow Dash was feet from her glaring daggers. Rainbow? Applejack could feel her eyes filling up at the friend's sharp words. The small Pegasus seemed to grow angrier. "How do you know my name? Are you a spy?" Oh, episode references. Those are the best. Applejack had only heard Dash use a tone like that once before, when she had told her to go away. "Dash, it's me, Applejack. I'm your friend." Dash's death stare faltered and faded into one of confusion. "You're lying. I've never seen you before in my life." "Sugar Cube? Hey, wait a minute. You're an Earth Pony. How can you walk on clouds?" Hey, Rainbow Dash, who are you talking to?" interrupted an approaching colt. Rainbow Dash and Applejack turned in the direction of the voice, both stunned to see another Pegasus heading their way. Getting closer to the pair was a colt, a little taller than Dash, but obviously the same age. He stopped just before the two ponies. "Hey, Cloud Twister, I was just asking this spy some questions," replied Dash, making the Earth Pony cringe at the anger in her friend's tone. Cloud Twister looked around in bewilderment. "Spy? Where? I don't see any pony." Dash looked between the Earth Pony and her friend, now more confused than ever. "She's right here!" Dash exclaimed, putting a hoof at Applejack. Dash, are you okay? There's no pony there," Cloud Twister explained, a concerned look upon his face. Dash looked utterly dumbfounded. How could her friend not see the pony right in front of them? So you want to go to the park?" Cloud Twister asked, trying to break the awkward silence. Dash quickly regained her composure. Sure. Last one there's a Featherbrain," she yelled, taking off past her friend. Not wasting any time, Cloud Twister took off after her. Applejack stepped around the pole to get a better look at the fleeing Pegasus. She noticed Dash glancing back at her. They locked eyes for just a brief second, and Applejack could have sworn that she'd see something click in Dash's eyes. Maybe not all hope is lost, she thought to herself, as a shimmer of hope radiated from her eyes. After an hour of walking, Applejack finally found the park. It was not too far from the school, just in the opposite direction. Then she was going. It was a simple park. It offered a seesaw, a jungle gym, and a field. Applejack took note of how soft the cloud was, knowing that this would probably be where she was sleeping for the night. She hung back out of sight from the rainbow-maned Pegasus and her friends. After a couple of hours, the two school Pegasi left to go their separate ways back home for the night. The Earth Pony cast a glance skyward. Judging from the sun's position, it was just after sunset, and darkness would be approaching fast. Dream world or no, the day seemed to follow a pattern similar to reality, for which she was thankful, realizing just how tired her body was. Walking over to the edge of the field, she lay down. She pulled a sheet of cloud over her as a blanket from the cool of the night. She shut her eyes, drifting into a deep sleep. A dreamless slumber. As the Earth Pony slept, no dream came to her. Instead, a strange being greeted her. The being offered her a riddle of advice, warning her of the dangers that lay ahead. Her darkest hour nears. It has bothered her for years. Help her through, and she will remember you. Fail to do this, truly, she will be missed. Her life is fading, an inner demon needs persuading. Kaboom! That was... yeah. Applejack shot into consciousness, eyes wide open from the startling sound. She was on her hooves already, glancing around the small park. The Earth Pony could see little featureless Pegasi with their parents all pointing their empty faces skyward, as a seemingly colorless rainbow was being drawn across the sky. Sorry, drink of water. I always make that sound. The Earth Pony knew this spectacle too well. Having seen it in full spectrum of the best young flyers competition, she broke into a full gallop towards the source of the rainbow. In the back of her thoughts, a rhyme rang warning her about Dash's state of being. Time seemed to fly by for the Earth Pony. Before she knew it, she was back at the school. This time, Applejack walked right in, knowing no pony could see her. Luckily, she had slept most of the day away, due to exhaustion and stress. Being within another's dream was far more taxing than she could have imagined. As if the very matrix of it fought to expel the foreign intruder, she would not have to wait long before the school day would be over. This school is huge, she thought to herself. She had already spent a good hour searching the halls, going from class to class to find the multicolored Pegasus. Midway down the second-floor hallway, she heard a familiar, confident voice coming from the nearby room. Quickly, she galloped to the door, stopping just outside. The Earth Pony peeked into the classroom. In the middle of the room stood Dash, her filly friend. Skyfire stood beside her. Applejack noticed two differences about Dash. The first being that she was now the center of attention, the second being that she now had her cutie mark. Before Applejack's brain could register what she had just heard, the bell rang. The halls began filling with more faceless school Pegasi. Applejack scrambled to get away from Dash's class, knowing her friend could see her as she galloped down the hall. A little pony stepped out in front of her. Applejack slammed on the brakes, trying to stop, but it was too late. She was barreling down on the figure. Applejack closed her eyes and braced for impact, but it never came. She opened her eyes soon after. The Pegasus was nowhere in sight. Casting a glance backwards, she spotted the pony, walking as if nothing happened. Applejack was stunned. She just walked right through the Pegasus. Just then, Dash and Skyfire appeared in the hallway, walking in the other direction. The Earth Pony let out a sigh of relief. She started pursuing the pair, trailing far behind to stay hidden. Applejack was a good 2 heads taller than most of the school Pegasi. She tried to stay low to remain hidden. After a short time, she managed to follow the duo out to the front door. This time, a huge gathering of Pegasi surrounded the front yard, all cheering Dash on in their bizarre, toneless voices. Applejack looked stunned. Every pony seemed to be congratulating Dash on her sonic rainbow. She joined in the back of the crowd, knowing that she would be safe from Dash's eyes. "Nice sonic rainbow, Dash!" yelled a coat in front of Applejack. "It was so awesome!" shouted another voice from her left. She noticed Dash basking in the glory of her peers. The rainbow-maned Pegasus looked so happy, like it was the best time of her life. Applejack had only seen Rainbow Dash that happy once before, when she pulled off her second sonic rainbow at the Best Young Flyers competition. After what felt like an hour, Dash finally said her goodbyes to her newly acquired fans and her filly friend Skyfire. Sorry, drink of water. Sure is dry weather out here. Applejack had trailed the Pegasus home, bewildered by how happy and confident her friend had become since yesterday. Finally, Dash turned off the sidewalk, moving up to another vivid-looking cloud home. She opened the door and stepped in. Sorry, I just stopped the recording again. My brother barged in. So, where was I? Oh yeah, Applejack had trailed the Pegasus home, bewildered by how happy and confident her friend had become since yesterday. Finally, Dash turned off to the sidewalk, moving up to another vivid-looking cloud home. She opened the door and stepped in, shutting it behind her. Applejack, however, walked alongside of the house, trying to find the Pegasus's room. The second window on her right side of the house seemed to be a perfect match. She ducked down below it, waiting for a familiar voice. After some time, the door to her room opened out of sight. The Earth Pony peered over the bottom of the window. Sure enough, standing just inside the room was Dash. The Scion Pegasus was busy admiring her newly acquired cutie mark. "So, that's what your first sonic rainbow looked like," Applejack stated, jumping through the window of the first... It's like a statement thing. "So that's what your first sonic rainbow looked like," Applejack stated, jumping through the window of the Pegasus's room. Rainbow Dash leapt into the air, all of her limbs going stiff. She fell onto her back, frozen in fear. Applejack giggled. "Whoa, now, didn't mean to startle you." "Oh, it's you," Dash retorted, riding herself back onto her forehooves. "You're not real," Dash exclaimed. "Just my imagination," the little Pegasus said bluntly, sizing the Earth Pony up. "Rainbow," Applejack felt a lump well in her throat. "I'm here for you." "You? Oh, I'm here to help you." "You help me?" "Are you kidding?" The small Pegasus fell back on her back, holding her sides in laughter. "Did you see the way those ponies praised me? Everything's going great for me now." "Dash, this ain't real. Look around you." Applejack notioned to the room around the two. "Do you see any color besides me?" The filly put a look of deep thought at the pony's question. I'm on to something now," Applejack thought. "Now that you mention it, that is kind of weird," the Pegasus replied, still pondering what it could mean. "You see? None of this is real, Sugar Cube. I came here to help you." Applejack stepped closer to her lost friend. "If none of this is real, then where am I in the real world?" "You're in Twilight's library in Ponyville." "Twilight who?" "I never left Cloud..." I'm talking in Applejack's voice. "Twilight who? I've never left Cloudsdale, let alone heard of Ponyville," the Pegasus replied, her tone becoming more skeptical. Applejack wasn't going to let the bridge she had been building for her disconnect friend... Sorry, I was reading too fast and I lost my track of words. Applejack wasn't going to let the bridge she had been building to her disconnected friend fall so easily. Twilight is your friend, Dash. She's the main reason I'm able to even get here. If it wasn't for her, the princess would never let me see you. The princess would have never sent me here. Dash looked shocked. The princess? Applejack nodded. Well, Oh, sorry. Applejack nodded. Well, one of them, Princess Luna. But I'm guessing you don't remember her either. Alright, even if this is true, Dash began, why am I here? What happened to me? Applejack's smile faded. Somehow she knew this question would come up. She fiddled with her brain, trying to find the best way to drop the bad news to her friend. She took a deep breath, letting it out softly. Well, you see, when you were younger, bullies teased you a lot. See, and you're older in the real world, I guess you pushed those painful memories to the back of your head, but I sort of brought them out again. Well, you didn't react good to them. Wait, alright, sorry, I lost my words again. Where should I start? Alright. I guess you pushed the painful memories in the back of your head, but I sort of brought them out again. Well, you didn't react so good to him. She paused, making eye contact with Dash. She wanted to see a reaction, but got none. She started again. So I came here, in your mind, to help you overcome. Dash's face held a mix between anger and confusion. Me? Being bullied? That's a good one. To think I almost bought that. Wiping a tear of laughter from her eyes, the Pegasus turned onto the Earth Pony. Now why don't you leave and leave me alone? Screamed Dash, flaring her wings as she took a fighting stance, ready to charge at the Earth Pony at any second. Applejack recoiled, backing into the wall beside her. Dash, what I'm saying is honest and truth. Tears ran softly off the Earth Pony's cheeks. You know who you are? The irate Pegasus spoke. You're all the self-doubt I have. Always telling me that I can't do it or that I should give up. Well, you know what? I'm never giving up my dreams. Now leave! Dash pressed forward, forcing the Earth Pony back out the window she had entered. Dash approached the window. I don't ever want to see you again. You got that? Even if you are real, I'm sure you're the one that caused me pain. I'm living the dream, and I have an amazing filly friend. Ponies respect me, and I'm not gonna drop it, all just because of some colorful Earth Pony that I can only see tells me. So long, Applejack, if that's your real name, shrieked Dash, pushing a cloud over the hole that she used as a window. Applejack collapsed, sobbing heavily. She would stay that way until she drifted into another dreamless sleep. Stupid imagination, creating ponies that don't exist, murmured Rainbow Dash, falling onto her cloud bed. The Pegasus closed her eyes in relaxation. Deep down inside the mind of the Cyan Pegasus, a voice of a much older version of herself rang out. Applejack, help me! I can't do that. I've read that part so many times and I just can't do that, so deal with it. Applejack, help me! Echoed the voice, unheard by any through the darkness. The filly Pegasus drifted off, thoughts of her newly gained popularity taking over her mind. End of Chapter 2. Oh, I'm giving myself a round of applause because I'm just happy that I finally read that chapter, because to be honest, I've read this chapter several times, but whenever I recorded it, I always screwed up on something, so I'm just taking a leap of faith, and I'm just recording it as I go. This will be the last one. I'll put the rest of it up. I'll read another part of the story tomorrow. But, this is Chapter 2. I'll read Chapter 3 soon. But, like I said, I've already read this story before, because, like, when the 3 weeks had passed when I first started reading it, I just read the rest of it, and I gotta tell you right now, this story, oh my god, I haven't read, My Little Dashie yet. I heard Aizka read it, and I didn't cry at this, I didn't cry at My Little Dashie, but when I read this story, manly tears were shed. This story touched my heart. This is by far my favorite fanfic ever. Ever! Like, so yeah, I'm just telling you that right now. So, chapter 3 coming shortly.